After 2 games on the road, the Western New York Flash finally returned to Sahlen Stadium to open the home portion of the 2015 NWSL season. Good evening, a beautiful night for soccer in downtown Rochester. I'm Joe Giuliano, along with Mike Kerms for another season of Western New York Flash soccer. Kermsy, welcome back. And are you ready to go, my man?
I'm very ready to go. This is going to be an exciting match with two teams that have had a lot of changes in the offseason. And actually, the Boston Breakers had 10 offseason changes, while the Western New York Flash had 14. The only team that was just as busy as them was the Washington Spirit with about 12 changes. So it's going to be an exciting new season with a lot of new faces and a lot of new players.
It's the rebuilt Western New York Flash. They come in with a record of 0-2 against the 1-1 Boston Breakers. And let's get your starting lineups taken care of. First, for the visitors from Boston, they are 1-0 away from home. Nair will be in goal. Pathman, King, Coleman, and Wood in the back. In the midfield, Shepfer, Barzik, McCaffrey, and Christy Mewis. Up top, it's Marlborough and Ezerike.
Yeah, and we're going to see Boston come out in a 4-4-2, and you're going to see McCaffrey. That's going to be the player to watch. She's fast. She can turn almost anyone, and that's what Tom Durkin's telling me. And I've watched a couple of games with McCaffrey. She's lightning fast, and she can turn almost anybody. And she's someone that they're going to start looking out for the national team program. It's her first season. She's a rookie, and she's going to be exciting to watch. You're going to see her move into a 4-3-3, and she'll be the one who starts penetrating into that attack.
And now coming out in the all-red for the Western New York Flash, it'll be Sabrina D'Angelo, the 21-year-old in goal, her third appearance of the season. In the back, it'll be Edmonds, Taylor, Engen, and Hinkle. In the midfield, Edwards, Dahlkemper, and Samantha Mewis. Up top, it's going to be Spencer Hamilton and the U.S. international Sydney LaRue. Aaron Lyons is the head coach of the Western New York Flash. And your referee is Greg Dobka. Assistants are Mark Boyko and Chris Trott here. And your fourth official is Lauren Dixon. Boston in the all-white with the blue shorts. They'll be kicking off, attacking the goal to our left. Only 3 players back from last season's Western New York Flash, who were 8-12-4, 7th place out of 9 in the NWSL. Here we go, the home season for the Western New York Flash kicks off now.
Yeah, and as we went through Boston, we said that they're going to be in a 4-4-2, and we're seeing Aaron Lyons. He's going to be in that 4-3-3, which we've seen so many times with the Western New York Flash, and he's got the personnel to play it. He's got the speed on the outside with Spencer and LaRue, and you got Hamilton up top, who he drafted last year in the fourth round. But she was out with an ACL, and now she looks like she's getting the start at center striker in the old Abby Wambach position.
Edwards with a touch forward. It's knocked away, picked up by Christy Mewis. She'll switch it over to the far side, but turning on the Jets, Jaylene Hinkle. And D'Angelo quickly off to the far side of her box. Will pick it up for the 0-2 Western New York Flash. Their last game was on Saturday, April 18th. A nice time to rest. It was a 1-0 loss at Portland. Ellie Long with the goal in the 22nd minute for the Thorns.
Yeah, and that was a goal. It was a long ball that was played into the 18-yard box, and D'Angelo came out, and she got herself caught in no man's land. Ellie Long comes up and just flicks it right over the goalie, and that was an unlucky goal for the Western New York Flash. But you know what? It's a good comeback. They went to Seattle. They lost 5-1. They go back out to Portland, and they lose 1-0. So that's a good showing for Aaron Lyons. 2 very tough teams to start the season off with.
Flash playing it out of the back. Here's the team captain and one of the 3 returning players, Taylor, has it now on the near side. She'll go central. Becky Edwards, the 26-year-old. Now LaRue gets her first touch on the home turf at Sahlen Stadium. Plays it short, Dahlkemper. Outside, good ball into space. Mewis into the 18. A touch, a service, and cleared away by Casey Coleman, the team captain for the Breakers.
It's a great run by Mewis coming out of the midfield, and you could see she's got such a huge presence playing against her sister, and I don't think we've ever seen those two play against each other. Mewis being a rookie, her first year with the Western New York Flash and in the NWSL.
Played up the far side. Marlborough. High service down the far side looking for McCaffrey, and that'll run out of play. It'll be a throw-in coming up for the Western New York Flash. Off the chest of LaRue, put back down, but taken away by the Breakers. High service into the 18. D'Angelo will have no trouble with that. D'Angelo was selected in the 3rd round of the 2015 NWSL draft, number 21 overall out of South Carolina. Intercepted by the Breakers, and they're coming forward. Ezerike. Mewis. A little heavy touch there, knocked away by the Flash, but Julie King takes possession back for the Breakers, spins away nicely from Hamilton, chips one forward, and Engen breaks it up.
Yeah, with King and Coleman in the back, that's nice for Boston. With losing Kat Whitehill to the Women's World Cup this year, she's going to be one of the broadcasters, and it's interesting. You don't just lose your players to the game itself; you're losing players to broadcasting and a lot of other activities that are going on. And when you got the best players in the world all playing in the same league, you're going to lose them to a lot of different avenues, and that's something that Tom Durkin, is filling that Kat Whitehill spot with her injured tonight. But you can see that Coleman and King, and you see that King so confident on the ball coming out of that center back position.
Here's Taylor, takes a touch, gets it back to Edwards, back to Taylor. Now receiving, looking for some help is Hamilton. Lays it off. Dahlkemper will work the far side up and over the head of LaRue. It'll be a throw-in on the far side for the Breakers. LaRue, the 24-year-old, 22 games played last season with Seattle. 5 goals scored. Coming over is Abby Wambach. Has her rights now belonging to Seattle, with LaRue coming over to the Flash.
And that's a good call by the AR there on offsides. But, LaRue definitely, her first goal was to be with her husband there in Kansas City, and she wanted to go to Kansas City, and she was denied that at first. And then all of a sudden, this opportunity came up for Seattle to grab the rights of Abby Wambach. And, LaRue was probably the only player that was going to be equal to Abby Wambach in that trade. And I actually feel that Western New York got the better of the deal right now with LaRue with so much more upside and so much more longevity in her career left. And Abby's, she's still got a couple years left, but not as many as LaRue. So I think Western New York Flash got the better of the long-term deal, not the immediate need, but the long-term outlook for the Western New York Flash with LaRue versus Abby Wambach. I think that was a good trade for Aaron Lyons.
And that seemed to be the sentiment from a lot of the soccer experts, at least here in Western New York. It wasn't as much uproar or uprising as I thought there would be. Pretty positive and upbeat when they heard LaRue was coming over for Wambach. And the Flash, again, as Mike has mentioned many times here, they have totally retooled for this season after a very disappointing Western New York Flash season by their standards in 2014. Breakers coming forward now. McCaffrey into the 18, crosses it to the 6, and it's cleared away by Becky Edwards, a 26-year-old.
And that's a huge mistake by Whitney Engen. A national team player just dribbling the ball up, losing the ball in possession in midfield, and that was a easy counterattack for the Boston Breakers that they could have taken advantage of. And I don't think going back to what you were saying, Joe, I don't think the Western New York or Rochester or Buffalo were so excited about losing Abby Wambach, but they were more excited about gaining Sydney LaRue, and that was just collateral damage of losing Abby Wambach. But again, looking into the long-term outlook, Sydney LaRue is probably a better pick for the Western New York Flash.
There's Spencer, gets it knocked away by Pathman, hustles back, knocks Pathman out of play, and the referee will not like that one. There'll be a free kick coming up for Boston. Spencer coming off a great offseason. She was on loan in Australia.
Yeah, comes back and fantastic. She went there, she scored 4 goals in her first 5 games out there for her team, and she ends up to be player of the year for the W League in Australia. And And that's great stuff for Spencer. She worked hard. She came off the bench all season last year and going over to Australia. Now you see her, she's getting the start. And going back to that Abby Wambach thing, one last thing. You got to face it. She's loved here in Rochester. I mean, everyone loves Abby Wambach. And she helps fill the stands here, but, she's definitely going to be missed.
Breakers intercepted nicely by Edmonds. Little chip forward, no one there for the ladies in red. The Western New York Flash with the red and white trim, attacking the goal to our right. We're in the 8th minute and scoreless as Enrique gets the header to McCaffrey.
Problem with that, son?
Touch down the middle of the field, Ingen. I'll get it back to D'Angelo. Some light pressure coming from Marlborough. D'Angelo has to go outside for the head of LaRue. Ingen and LaRue will be joining the U.S. team for the World Cup in Canada later on this summer. Those are some big losses for the Western New York Flash, but again, completely retooled, and the depth may be a little different off the bench for Aaron Lyons and the Flash this season.
Well, there's a lot of other teams that are losing a lot more players, and Tom Durkin and the Boston Breakers have to have a lot of confidence in Kranich. She's going to be the goalie, as Nair's going to be one of the backups to Hope Solo, along with former Western New York Flash player, now with the Washington Spirit, Ashlyn Harris.
USA playing in Group D with Australia, Sweden, and Nigeria. Into the box, Spencer couldn't make contact, and Nair takes possession.
And that's a nice ball by Becky Edwards, but even a better run by Jasmine Spencer. And Jasmine Spencer's got to get something on that. Even bring it down with your right foot, bring it to your left foot. There's so much space out there. And give it a go against Alyssa Nair.
Enrique. Good battle, middle of the field, one there by Dahlkemper. Finds Mewis. Now LaRue playing on the outside. Touch there by Edwards, and will it be kept in play as Mewis on a full sprint, not going to get there. And it'll be a goal kick coming up for the 27-year-old U.S. national team player, Alyssa Nair, the 2014 NWSL Goalkeeper of the Year, 106 saves last season, NWSL, and a team record as well. There's McCaffrey pushing forward, outside to Ezerike. Middle of the field, Mewis. Barzik, former Western New York Flash player. Just whipped down the central part of the Flash defense, and Spencer will try to play it off the chest. She can't keep possession. Pathman comes away with it for the Breakers. Good bit of defending there from Edmonds. Wins the throw-in for the Flash.
Before the game, I was talking to Aaron Lyons, and he said that his 3 keys today is really, get the ball quickly through the midfield, get it through Becky Edwards, get it through Dahlkemper, and get it through Mewis, and get it quickly through the midfield, get it to the out wide, and play LaRue and Spencer on the out wide and utilize that speed. Start getting Edmonds forward a little bit more, Hinkle forward a little bit more. Edmonds has that speed when you switch the point of attack. And that's definitely one of it. Those are 2 of his points, with utilizing the outside pace as well as getting the ball quickly through the midfield. And obviously being confident on the ball. You just went out, you played a very tough team in the Portland Thorns, and you lost 1-0. And off of an unlucky goal, possibly a D'Angelo mistake, could have easily been a 0-0 tie. And be confident on the ball and be confident in your game.
And speaking of lucky or unlucky goals, Boston benefiting from a own goal from Carly Lloyd. And that 3-2 win against Houston. As Enrique and King had a goal, and then in the 72nd minute, Lloyd off of her knee, giving the Breakers a 3-2 win. By the way, they had a 2-0 lead in that game, but they gave up 2 goals in 3 minutes. And held on for dear life for the 3-2 win.
And we always talk about that. After a goal is scored, you got to be prepared for at least that next 5 minutes. And that happened with the Western New York Flash. They were down 2-0. They get a goal back, and they're down 2-1 against the Portland Thorns. And next thing you know, the Rapinoe hat trick starts. 2 minutes later, Rapinoe scores her first goal of the game. And then the next thing you know, 2 more goals. And really it was the Rapinoe and Jess Fishlock story there, and Kim Little also. What a tough team to play on your first game of the season. And then Megan Rapinoe starts off with a hat trick to start the season off.
And you bring up the name Fishlock. We've seen her do some damage here at Sahlen Stadium. What a dynamite player.
She is so enjoyable to watch. I mean, she's so busy in the midfield, and she's always a pleasure to watch. And I always look forward to watching her play, but unfortunately for the Western New York Flash, they've got to deal with that. As Becky Edwards takes one in the face right there, and she's saying that she's okay. And, you know, reading a lot about, you know, refs and coaches and trainers are very, very aware of anything with head injury these days. So we're doing a real quick check to see how Becky's doing.
Becky Edwards, 26 years old, her 3rd appearance of the season. 23 games played last season with Houston, coming over to the Flash in exchange for Carly Lloyd. She's coming with Ingen as well.
Yeah, and I think and that's a great trade, getting 2 very, very solid starters for.
I mean, throw in a 3rd-round pick as well.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Carly Lloyd is magical, but I mean Becky Edwards and Whitney Engen are also very magical. And 2 players that Aaron Lyons, he lost them a few years ago. They were both with the Western New York Flash, and he's always enjoyed having them on the team, and now they're back. And it's great to see Whitney Engen back in 2011 trying to work to get onto that national team for the World Cup, and now there she is. She's on the team this year. And Becky Edwards also a mainstay here with the Western New York Flash a few years ago, and Aaron Lyons always wanted her back, and I'm sure he's very happy to have her back. So 2 players that he's known back on the field for the Western New York Flash.
Ingen, the WPS Defender of the Year back in 2011 as the Flash won the championship. Good hustle there. Taylor getting some help.
And I remember having conversations with Aaron back then, and I mean, him and I both could not believe that Whitney Engen did not make the national team roster that year. She was just, you know, one of the top defenders in the league, and she doesn't make, in the best league in the world, and she doesn't make the U.S. national team.
Here's McCaffrey just outside the 18. Left-footed cross, shot to goal. It's slammed home inside the 6. Marlborough inside of her foot gives Boston the 1-0 lead in the 15th minute.
And we talked about how dangerous McCaffrey is, and she took Brittany Taylor, and she got Brittany Taylor wrong-footed. What a great crash there, and a great cross by Mewis, and a brilliant finish by Marlborough. And those are the 2 players that Tom Durkin said, listen, those are the 2 players that you got to watch. And here's McCaffrey. She's coming up the left-hand side. 1v1 on Brittany Taylor. A little fake to the right, tucks it to the left, and then screams it across. And here comes Marlborough. Nothing that D'Angelo can do. But who's got Marlborough on that one? Just coming in straight and free to put that one, bang that one in the back of the net. And McCaffrey just so quick on Brittany Taylor and got her wrong-footed and beat her to her left side.
So for Marlborough, it's her 1st of the season, McCaffrey's 2nd assist. That goal comes in the 15th minute. Good bit of individual work there from McCaffrey, who sets the table and really just slammed home with the inside of the right foot by Morgan Marlborough.
And McCaffrey's no surprise for the Boston Breakers. She's played on the reserves while she was playing at Boston College the last 2 years. So Tom Durkin's very familiar with her.
Mewis with a shot. Saved the rebound, offsides as Spencer fires this one high up and over the goal. Mewis with a rocket. Nair may have had some trouble seeing that one with the sun directly in her eyes. With the Flash immediately come back with a response. There's Nair. Up and over midfield. Dahlkemper with a header. Coleman. Flash will slow down with Hinkle. Takes a touch, looks, finds LaRue. Dahlkemper. Spencer onto the near side, 1 touch back. Mewis. Edmonds. Good slide tackle there from Pathman. And a 22-year-old out of Duke.
And every once in a while, that's all you need is a little change of the flow of the game. And a great long ball that goes over Wood's head. And LaRue's the player that gets it, bringing it forward, and she finds Mewis. And what a strike by Mewis, and a good save by Nair. Spencer almost getting the rebound there.
D'Angelo hurries off her line to clear that up and over to the far side, out of play. It'll be a Breakers throw-in. Rachel Wood to take it. 1-0, 18th minute. Marlborough with the goal, McCaffrey with the assist. The Breakers leading the Flash. Hinkle, 21-year-old, number 7 overall pick out of Texas Tech University. The throw-in comes immediately back. Here she is again, the shot by Marlborough, blocked by Taylor. Hinkle drives one forward. Julie King steps in front to knock it out of play. Throw in again for the Flash at midfield on the far side. LaRue off the chest. Down to the turf. Spins and turns. Nope. Plays it back. Taylor.
Now I'm sure Tom Durkin's saying to himself, man, what a great pickup for me. I pick up Coleman and Marlborough for Heather O'Reilly. Huge loss in Heather O'Reilly, another national team player who, maybe it was time for her to move on. Look for a team that could be what you might say is more of a contender for the NWSL championship as you start winding down. And there you go. That's a huge pickup for the Boston Breakers. And
could be
Marlborough.
Trouble in the box as that one was deflected. Took a different path, but Nair had to backtrack. Quickly rolls it out to Schepfer, number 88. The 26-year-old. The pass is intercepted by Taylor. Mewis. A lot of touches in the middle of the field early on. Pathman again breaks up the delivery for Spencer. Morgan Marlborough. Julie King. A little too deep on the service, and no chance there for Rachel Wood to get on the end of that one. 3 other games tonight in the league. Chicago taking on Sky Blue. Houston taking on FC Kansas City. Seattle taking on the Washington Spirit. Taylor. Edmonds with some space. Touches it inside, looking to get it to Hamilton. It's popped straight up in the air. Hamilton with the leg swipe against Mewis.
Well, it was clearly a foul before that. Hamilton is looking up at the ball, and then all she did was she banged up into Mewis. Clearly a foul before the play. The ball came down.
Pretty impressed, though, with the work rate of Hamilton early on, the 23-year-old who missed last season with an ACL injury, but she seems to be raring to go in 2015.
When you're sitting so long and you're trying to come back from an injury, it lights a fire in you. You're watching your team train every day while you're on that bike, or you're swimming every day and doing different things in order to get yourself in shape. And I'm sure Hamilton couldn't wait for this day to play in a home opener for the Western New York Flash. She's very busy up top.
She is.
Going back to Marlborough, I mean, just like we talked about Spencer going all over to Australia in the offseason, you had Marlborough. She went over to the Scottish Women's League over there and ended up winning the Scottish Premier League with Glasgow FC. And you could see why.
She's been a handful early on, 22 minutes in. Midway through first half action at Sahlen Stadium, the 2015 home opener for the Western New York Flash. Edwards. Hamilton. Still with it. Top of the 18. Shot. Good diving save from Nair, denying Mewis. And the one-timer out of the air, doesn't get all of it. And cleared away by the Breakers.
And Mewis isn't afraid. Not bad for a rookie coming into the league. She's got Sydney LaRue on her left, and she's at the top of the 18. She had a decision there to make. Either rip one or hit Sydney LaRue, who was starting to streak in and really wanted the ball there. And Mewis with another blast from the top, and Nair keeping Nair really, really busy.
She's got some hard shots to deal with from Ewis, and that sun directly in her eyes as she's trying to get a good look and some shade as it's about midway covering her goal. Foul called. It's Edwards who goes down, Becky Edwards. She's 26 years old. Helped the Flash win the 2011 WPS Championship. 3 goals that year in 19 games played. She gets some direction from head coach Aaron Lyons. Fresh new hairdo for Mr. Lyons today.
Always looking good.
Always looking sharp. There's the service. Into the box. The header! And a goal! They finally break the wall of Nair. And Western New York in the 23rd minute on a restart gets the equalizer.
Wow, what a ball, what a goal, and what a pickup by Aaron Lyons, the number 4 college draft pick in Samantha Mewis. And we keep talking about McCaffrey and the rookies in the league right now. They're showing why they deserve to be in this league. And this is a game for both these teams. Both of them have to win this game because they're playing with, both teams are relatively young. They made tons of changes in the offseason. Mewis has had now 2 rips on goal, on frame, and now she gets her header right into the corner. Nothing Nair could do with that sun blocking her.
Sam Mewis, the 22-year-old, her first goal of the season. First goal as a member of the Flash. Her 24-year-old sister looks on as her younger sister scores the equalizer for the Flash in the 23rd minute. Edwards and Lyons had a little discussion before that restart. Whatever it was seemed to work.
He said, find the biggest person in the box, and that was Mewis. And I'm sure Chrissy Mewis looked on and said, you know, I used to play her those balls.
What a good target player. We've seen her do it with the powerful shots. This time, Nair was just planted. No chance at all.
And that's a nice goal. That's a really nice goal. Good time for the Western New York Flash to get one back, bring this game back 1-1 before it got any out of hand. And you did. Actually, we have seen a flow in this match since that long ball to LaRue that went to Mewis at the top of the 18. And then all of a sudden, you see a little change of the flow of the game. And that's important for the Western New York Flash. You always need something to change it. And that was it.
Well, the first time Sam Mewis and Christy Mewis face each other on opposite sides, and it's a big one for Sam. And we're still early on. Edmonds, she's seen a lot of play on this near flank. Pathman has been busy as well, knocks it out of play.
And that's what Aaron Lyons was talking about. Let's get the outside backs forward as much as possible, but also let's execute those crosses.
Spencer, it's flicked on by Julie King, actually. Back towards her own goal. Nair's got to be quick to pounce on it.
Well, Julie King is very lucky that she did flick that on because Sydney LaRue was right behind her and she was crashing far post. And I thought for sure that was going to get to Sydney LaRue. Nice look by Jasmine Spencer. And lucky's, let's say, flick by Julie King.
Schepfer. Far side, Schepfer gets it back, a little toe poke forward. McCaffrey, marked there by Ingen. Looks up, swerving ball into the box. Taylor steps in front of it, but the shot still able to be pulled off by Mewis, and she wasn't too far off.
Yeah, Brittany Taylor's got to be careful. She's got to take the ball there and have a little bit more urgency in the back there and get that ball right out of there.
Mewis says, hey, if my little sister can do it, why can't I? She wasn't too far off the mark. LaRue. Hinkle. She was probable with a hamstring strain, but she's out there and gets the start today. As Enrique comes back the other way for Boston. Schepfer with some space. As Enrique pops it up in the air, gives the Flash a chance to defend and come away with it, and they do. Mewis, a lot of space crossing midfield. Edmonds constantly overlapping on this near side. Hamilton. Spencer into the box. Tries to spin and serve it in. Can't get contact on the ball.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with Spencer. As she continues to gain experience, be a little bit patient with that. Knock that back to Edmonds and let Edmonds cross that. Just a little bit more patience. And that's what you're going to see a lot of that this year from a younger team. Sometimes you're going to be like, okay, be a little patient, make a different decision that you're going to be able to allow the entire team to execute.
Restart headed back down to Julie King. McCaffrey. No one there for Boston. Played back to D'Angelo. A low driven ball, middle of the field. Breakers take possession again. Barzik. Schepfer. Under the foot of Ezerike, and D'Angelo has to sprint out again. She's been busy today. Sprinting down some of these loose balls. The 21-year-old from Canada. 2012 was the under 20 Canadian Female Player of the Year from Welland, Ontario. As Edwards plays it behind Hamilton. And Boston with Barzik. 19 games played last season. Barzik has it now at midfield. That was in a Flash jersey, by the way. Up and over the head of McCaffrey. Taylor lets it roll through to D'Angelo. Flash will be back here at Sahlen Stadium next Friday, May the 8th, against FC Kansas City. KC right now, 3 points with 1 win and 2 losses. Just above the Western New York Flash early in this 2015 season. Boston will be in Chicago a week from tonight. Spencer, nice little turn, driving at the Boston defense. Good ball into space. Hamilton settles, serves, and at the last second, Coleman, a little flying back heel, clears it away.
The best part about that entire play was the run that Hamilton made to really open up that defense, and it made Coleman make a decision there. Do I go with Hamilton, or do I try to prevent Spencer from coming through the middle? Great run by Hamilton, nice diagonal run, and Spencer played it right into her path. And if Hamilton could have just played that ball a little bit better, another great run by Hamilton.
Hamilton's in the box, and a collision with Nair, and the referee will blow the whistle and bring this one to a halt.
A nice ball by Edmonds, and another great run by Hamilton. She's just got to get a little bit on that, just a little touch on that, so she can take it away from the goalkeeper. And you can see that the Western New York Flash are getting the better of the Breakers right now.
30th minute, here's a good look at that last opportunity.
And look at that ball by Edmonds, and another great run. Flirting with that back line just a little bit, and Hamilton stays on sides, and all she has to do is get a little touch. And here you see it again. Hamilton with another run, just get something on that.
LaRue played one into the box, broken up by the Breakers. Mewis. Ezerike. On that to her feet, and it's going to roll on the slick surface. Throw-in coming up here for the Flash.
Yeah, and Ezerike and Mewis just not on the same page there. Ezerike looking for the ball to her feet, and Mewis is like saying, go, 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 I need you to go forward.
Dahlkemper. Out of UCLA, 21 years old. Abby Dahlkemper, wearing number 4 this season for the Flash. Mewis blocks the clearance by Edmonds. Still Mewis spins, serves into the box. Nice and composed clearance there from Taylor. Flash will come out with Edwards. Checking to is Spencer. And with that check, finds herself some space.
And Pathman just giving Spencer way too much room. Spencer backed off on, Pathman's backed off on Spencer, allows her to turn and go at her versus staying tight on her. And Pathman can't be giving Jasmine Spencer that much room. She's got to stay tight, not allow her to turn, and make Spencer play it back to Becky Edwards. And you can see the speed by Spencer and how dangerous she can be.
There's Edwards. Mewis. Left-footed chip high and out of play in the 32nd minute. Hope you're enjoying our coverage from Sahlen Stadium. Joe Giuliano, Mike Kerms. Our producer is the one and the only John Catalano on a gorgeous night for soccer. 74 degrees at kickoff, sun just setting now. It's the 2015 home opener for the Western New York Flash. Nair to midfield, headed away by Dahlkemper. Chip forward now for Spencer. Good battle tonight with Pathman on this near side. Pathman, the 22-year-old, member of the U.S. under-20 team that won the World Cup in 2012 in Japan. Kranich, the Breakers keeper, also a member of that U20 team. As Hamilton has this one bounce off her foot and out of play.
Well, I'd say Pathman's been busy all day with Edmonds attacking her, Spencer attacking her, and then you got Edmonds, then you got Spencer. So she's definitely had her work cut out for her this half.
Good bit of defending from Taylor, as we've become accustomed to seeing over the years.
I was just going to say, that's the Brittany Taylor that we all know.
Hinkle gets it from LaRue. Still Hinkle. Battling with King, far side of the 18, and she's going to dribble out of bounds. Goal kick coming up here for the Breakers.
Yeah, Brittany Taylor, former NWSL top 11 in the league as a defender for the Western New York Flash. You know, and you look through this Western New York Flash team right now, and you've got number 3 in the college draft in Dahlkemper, number 4 in the college draft in Mewis. Dahlkemper's heading up right. She's playing that holding midfielder right in front of the back four, playing a great game right now. Mewis with the goals, had a couple of shots on frame, and you got Hinkle playing that left back position, number 7 in the college draft. And then you got Williams on the bench, number 6 in the draft. So 3, 4, 6, and 7 are going to be critical for Aaron Lyons in the Western New York Flash this year. And I'm very impressed by what Dahlkemper and Mewis are doing right now. And I think Hinkle's just got to get herself a little bit more into the flow of the match on that left-hand side. You know, that hamstring could be bothering her just a little bit.
Long ball up and over everybody. D'Angelo calls off the Dogs, and she'll settle it down.
And we've already talked about the one that's right in between them all. So you got number 3 and 4 in the Western New York Flash college draft, and then number 5 in McCaffrey on the Boston Breakers, and then 6 and 7. So both these teams got 3 through 7. And
you know, you go through the lineup, the changes that have been made by the Western New York Flash this season. Aaron Lyons and Alex Sahlen extremely busy. Also busy on the home front. A little one at home as well. I don't know how they found time to do anything. So many new faces in this lineup and a new face at home as well.
They now have 3 instead of 2.
Hinkle.
Yeah, both these teams, Boston, I mean, Tom Durkin's got 3 of his own at home as well, so he's busy at home. Plus, he had tons of changes this year, so lots of faces for him to deal with as well.
Edmonds driven, top of the 18. No one there. LaRue now switching onto this near side. They'll work her against Pathman. Edmonds switches it back to Edwards. We'll get those two down before the end of the season, Edmonds and Edwards. And Mewis for the Flash with the challenge.
Marlboro asking for a yellow card. Marlboro asking for a yellow card.
Hair tie came off on that challenge as well. Here's McCaffrey. Taylor backpedaling, wins the ball away nicely. Here's Taylor. Well, one noticeable absentee in the lineup is Zerboni. Now with Portland and the motor we call McCall, no longer with the Flash.
Yeah, McCall Zerboni just working every single game, game in, game out. And I think, you know what, I think McCall, you know, this is a good, clean, fresh start for her. She's been with the New York Flash Western New York Flash for so long. And, you know, and you know, every once in a while you need a change, and it's probably a great change for McCall Zerboni. I'm sure it felt pretty good to win 1-0 a couple weeks ago against her former team. So, and they'll definitely be missed, and you know, definitely another player that I think will be missed in that center of the park is Angela Salem. Was just so you know, critical in switching that point of attack nonstop, and but you know what? Aaron Lyons always has something in store for us, and it's you see what Mewis is bringing now, and you see what Becky Edwards and Dahlkemper bring.
McCaffrey late call as the flag does come up late, and a late whistle as well. Clearly offsides. That's the right call. It just was a matter of when the flag came up. McCaffrey in behind the defense.
Yeah,
Tom Durkin not happy with it.
Yeah, I don't think he disagrees with the AR here on this one.
See if we can get a look at the replay on that last service into McCaffrey, who called for offside.
You know, timing is critical for any forward or midfielder going through and trying to break that back four. And the one thing that you got to watch out for you, the Western New York Flash, you watch that play again and you look how flat they were, how flat Whitney Engen and Brittany Taylor were, and they got to always keep an eye on McCaffrey because she's the speedy. She's probably between her and LaRue, they're probably the speediest players on the field.
McCaffrey played her 4 years at Boston College, number 5 overall in the draft, actually by the Chicago Red Stars, before Boston sent their number 9 and 11 picks to Chicago in exchange for McCaffrey. So Mike said it's been busy, and that's an understatement for these teams in the NWSL as they rebuild and retool for 2015.
Well, like I said, McCaffrey played 2 years with the Boston Breakers reserves, and the Boston Breakers are very familiar with what McCaffrey could bring, but obviously the Chicago Red Stars knew as well, and I think that's a very good move by Chicago to get 2 picks for McCaffrey. And how does she feel being drafted, rookie, and saying, wow, they traded 2 players for me and the number 9 and 11?
LaRue, top of the 18, the chip, it's up and over the goal as Nair watches it sail high. She didn't waste any time. One-time little chip up for Sydney LaRue.
And I believe that was Mewis that saw Nair off her line. Mewis, who saw Sydney LaRue making that switch as Spencer and LaRue switch sides here, trying to throw Pathman and Wood off. And what a nice little ball there. And Sydney LaRue takes a quick look up. She sees Nair off her line and says, I think I got it. But I think Nair had her. I think Nair had pretty good positioning on her.
Mewis has done great controlling that feeding position up to LaRue and Spencer and Hamilton. She's looked good early on for the Flash.
Yeah, but if you start looking at who's got the most touches in this game right now, I think it's Becky Edwards. She's been very, very busy in the center of the park, constantly showing. And right there is an example. She's just hanging there with Dahlkemper, and all of a sudden she's the one that shows to the back just to link up, be that link up. And here's Mewis showing again. All 3 central midfielders for the Western New York Flash have been very, very busy.
Nice build up here. Hinkle working the speed on the far side. Cross deflected. And popped away, but not too far as the Flash put it back into the Boston half. Mewis. Hinkle. Back to Mewis. Avoids the first challenge. Keeps possession. Finds Dahlkemper.
We all know
she'll have a go from distance, and it's off frame.
And that's way ambitious. I mean, I haven't seen Dahlkemper strike one in a while, but that's way ambitious. And Edmund, that's that patience we were talking about, right? Young player, patient, get that back out to Edmonds on the outside, and then let's bring it back in. Let's have the entire Boston Breakers shift to their left side of the field, and also you bring it back, and you got some crashing Western New York Flash coming from the other side.
41st minute, 1-1 is your score if you're just tuning in the 15th minute. Marlborough from McCaffrey for Boston. Then 23rd minute, Mewis from Edwards on a free kick. Headed home by Mewis to make it 1-1. And we are in the 41st minute at Sahlen Stadium. Mewis, Boston Mewis that is. Good ball into space for Pathman. LaRue comes in with a hard challenge and applauds the referee's call as it's a goal kick for the Flash.
I hope we see that from Sydney LaRue when she comes back from the Women's World Cup, because we're going to lose her. But
I didn't think we'd see that before the World Cup.
But just coming back, the way that she works back, with Pathman to play on that defensive side as an attacker is, you don't see that all the time from forwards, and that's great stuff by Sydney LaRue.
Just shows that she's bought in. She's invested here and looking to turn this thing around in 2015. LaRue Off of Pathman. Played back now to Taylor. One times it forward, out of play. 43rd minute. Shots in favor of the Flash, 6-3. Late into the first half, and congratulations to the Washington Spirit defender, Crystal Dunn, the NWSL Player of the Week. Scored 2 goals in the first half of the game versus Sky Blue, a 3-1 win. So it's the NWSL Player of the Week. Restart at midfield for Pathman and the Breakers. She will drive it back to the far side. Julie King under pressure, has to hurry and get away from Spencer.
Julie King made that look quite simple. And I think Pathman, that wasn't a good decision by Pathman right there. You got that free kick on the left-hand side. Why give it back to Julie King?
Great. Here is Pathman. LaRue deflects it just enough to give D'Angelo a chance to scoop it out of the air with no pressure.
You know, one of the hardest things in soccer is to find a lot of left footers on your team. I know when I played, we only had a couple solid left footers on our team. And right now, the Boston Breakers have 6 left footers on their team. And there you see Pathman that can cross with the left. So it makes your team so much more dangerous when everything's coming from both sides and the confidence coming from across like that. And I mean, that's good defending right there, but still Pathman's going forward with confidence, knowing that she could swing a ball in with her left peg.
44th minute. Rafinha has been warming up for the last 10 or 15 minutes along the Boston sideline, the 26-year-old Brazilian. I assume we'll see her come second half, but Spencer and the Flash have other ideas right now. Shot deflected, and Nair diving to her left makes the save.
Jasmine Spencer's playing with so much more confidence this year as a starter. And you see a different Jasmine Spencer coming out of the her year in Australia. You know, last year she was that role player coming off the bench, spark up the team, and now you can see that she's playing with so much more confidence.
Intercepted. Edmonds, good step. A little too heavy on the touch forward. Coleman will get there before LaRue. She's gonna have to work. And boy, does she work hard for that one, as her and LaRue get tangled up. LaRue says, okay, it's over with. Let's move on. Goal kick coming up for the Breakers. Sydney LaRue, 24 years old, Canadian-born, 33 goals with the women's national team. As we'll have 1 minute of stoppage time in half number 1.
You know, like we said, Coleman came over in the trade with for Heather O'Reilly there, and she's a, you know, she played every single minute in the 2014 NWSL Championship game last year in that 2-1 win over the Seattle Reign. Solid center back, you know, and she was just trying to shield that out by Sydney LaRue, and they just got tangled up, and Sydney LaRue doing what she's got to do, try to get that ball. I used to hate when defenders are trying to ride that ball out, and next thing you know, you're trying to whack them, and then they're just so strong.
As Enrique gets taken down, and free kick late here in this first half. It'll be probably the last play of the half. Mewis, Pathman over the ball. 2 in the wall for the Flash. Breakers pushing numbers forward.
I don't know if you need a wall here, to be honest with you.
Mewis, good swerving ball into the box. And the referee looks at his whistle and blows it to bring half number 1 to a close. After 45 minutes of play, the Flash and the Breakers are tied at 1. This is the Flash Broadcast Network.
great taste has landed. Sahlen's great tasting hot dogs and deli meats now available across New York State.
Your mornings rock.
You think your mornings are crazy? Look who I have to work with every day.
16 years with you, and you're not gorgeous.
But it's fun.
I'm a young guy in my 20s. I live in the city of Rochester, and you usually catch me in the East End between here and here.
A wise man once told me, if it smells like garbage plate, eat it.
Make the switch to the all-new Breakfast Buzz with Spasano and Sandy and all kinds of rock all day on 98.9 The Buzz.
The Radio Press Box with Scott Petoniak and Dan Borello.
As a Bills fan, I don't know about you, Scott. It bothers me because, hey, that's what we're known for. Snow and being obnoxious.
I just don't understand why a person will get totally schnockered to the point, Dan, where the next day they won't even be able to tell you if Jack Kemp or E.J. Manuel is at quarterback. I mean,
weekday afternoons from 3 to 7.
Sports sounds better here.
95.7 ESPN.
kickoff right now as the Flash have LaRue and Hamilton at midfield. We are tied at 1 as we begin half number 2. Goals from Marlboro for Boston, Mewis for Western New York. And here come the Flash attacking from right to left. One change made to start this second half. It's for Boston. Rafinha is in for Ezerique. Rafinha, the 26-year-old from Brazil, her 3rd appearance of the season. Only change of the game so far. As Hinkle and LaRue play it short on the near side. Hinkle back to Dahlkemper. Mike, your thoughts on half number 1?
Half number 1 was it was led by the Boston Breakers in the first 15 minutes or so, and then after they scored that goal, they kind of sat back, and then once the Western New York Flash started putting pressure on the outsides and using LaRue and Spencer and allowing Edmonds to come forward, the change of the flow of the game changed, and I thought the Western New York Flash definitely had the last 30 minutes. And it all started with that long ball from Brittany Taylor to Sydney LaRue, and then LaRue sent it back at the top of the 18 to Mewis. Mewis hits that blast. Great save by Nair. And then all of a sudden, the game changed. And I think the Western New York Flash is showing very, very well here at home. And the Boston Breakers need to get control of that midfield again. It's been Dahlkemper, Edwards, and Mewis really taking over in the center of the park.
Only one change so far as we begin half number 2. It's by the Breakers. Here's Hinkle on the near side, LaRue. Again, they play the 1-2, looking to connect. Mewis. Pass deflected by Pathman. Edwards. Outside to Edmonds. Looks. Chips into the box. Mewis with the header. Doesn't get all of it, and Nair on the one hop will pick it up and roll it out to Schepfer.
And there's that difference. Becky Edwards had some time. She looked to goal, and she goes, you know what, I'm gonna hit Edmonds on the outside, and Edmonds hits a great cross outside from the outside into Mewis crashing. But I think Tom Durkin, I think the Boston Breakers and Tom Durkin, they may have to make a little bit of a change, because I think Becky Edwards, right here you got McCaffrey chasing, and it's an easy ball from Dahlkemper to Edwards, and now you've got Mewis who's wide open, and I don't think if you're playing with 4 midfielders, they got to be playing a little bit more of a diamond midfield, and I don't think the outside midfielder is coming in enough to support the 2 central midfielders for the Boston Breakers. So you got Dahlkemper, Mewis, and Edwards against McCaffrey and Bartik. And I think the 3 central midfielders for the Western New York Flash are dominating the center of the park.
First corner kick of the game, 48th minute. It'll be for the Flash. Becky Edwards on the far side to take it. Subs available for Western New York. Jordan Angeli, Lynn Williams. You've also got Jones, Stewart, Presley Fields, and Joya. Good delivery into the box. The shot from LaRue sails high. Got the right foot on it as it sails up and over the goal. Goal kick coming up here for the Breakers.
And that's the right spot, the right player. Just the wrong shot right there for Sydney LaRue. And nice little cross. It should not bounce in the 18. And if you're the Boston Breakers, you got to get on that ball, get on the end of that ball and clear it right away. Sydney LaRue wraps around to the top of the 18. And she had a clear shot on frame and just puts it over.
Barzik knocked off the ball. Referee makes the call. There'll be a restart coming up for the Breakers. Boston 4 goals scored this season, 6 against. Flash have 1 scored and 6 against. 5 of those 6, though, coming against Seattle. King will chip one forward. Taylor, the only player there, clears it away for the Flash. Hamilton. King wins the header over Hamilton. Rafinha, the number 10, looking to distribute here in this second half for Boston. Schepfer. Tucked in just behind the attacking players. Rafinha.
Yeah, Rafinha, who played in the Campeonato in Brazil in 2014. She played for Ferro Vieira and she started 10 of 11 games there and had 5 goals, and Tom Durkin brought over Rafinha and Bia at the same time, both from Brazil.
Bia out with a left hamstring strain. Hinkle, LaRue. Seem to work pretty well together, those two on this near side. Edwards to Sydney LaRue. Good touch, gets away from one challenge. LaRue, good ball forward for Hamilton, gets it back. Has to hustle as the pass wasn't too accurate there, but LaRue kept possession. Mewis and Spencer, no connection there.
Yeah, Mewis has her hands up like, where were you? I don't think that was good enough a ball. And where was the open lane? And it was Edmonds again coming up forward. Slotted out to the outside, and let's get the entire Boston Breakers team to shift.
Goal kick for Nair. Good win by Edwards. Wood steps in front of Hamilton. And now Barzik plays it to Marlborough. Back to Julie King. One of the veterans, the 25-year-old. Top of the 18, one hop. Hinkle turns and clears it for the Flash. Schepfer, pressured by LaRue. Back to Barzik. Headed back to the top of the 18. Taylor clears it. Only as far as Mewis, who gets a shot away, and Boston will have their first crack at a corner kick in half number 2. Actually, first crack at a corner kick at all in this game.
And that's where Boston's going to see success. You see there they used Mewis and they used Schepfer, both on the outsides. And that's where their strength's going to be versus trying to go down the center of the park where it's 2 versus 3. So as they use Mewis and Schepfer on the outside, they're going to see more success. And they got that ball out to Mewis. That started that entire play.
Rafinha, the delivery. Into the box, a great diving save from D'Angelo as it was poked towards the goal by Rachel Wood. And a round of applause for the 21-year-old Canadian.
Yeah, and that was Brittany Taylor's mark, and Brittany Taylor's got to stay tighter on her and not allow Wood to get anything on that. Great save by D'Angelo. What a reaction save to get down low quickly and get it and just save that, keep that one out of the back of the net. Again, what a great run by Wood there on that far post and a beautiful cross by Rafinha to allow that one. Again, another ball drops, and we saw the corner from the Western New York Flash. Another ball drops in the 18. Both coaches cannot be happy with that.
There goes Spencer. Pass off the mark from Mewis. Pathman, Boston come away with it. Schepfer will be the player who's coming off for the next Boston change. It'll be Verdoya coming on, Stephanie Verdoya. Talk about that in a second as Pathman and McCaffrey looking to serve one into the box. Rafinha couldn't get it to sit, has to regroup. Still in the 18, looking, cuts it back. Left-footed shot off the mark, and this change will come up in the 54th minute. Tom Durkin not wasting any time. Bringing on his changes, his second substitution is Stephanie Verdoya, the 22-year-old. And Schepfer will be coming off. Second appearance of the season for Verdoya out of Seattle University, the 2-time Western Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year. 51 goals in her college career. And she'll come on now for the Boston Breakers. Restart played short. Taylor gets it back from Edmonds. Flash yet to make a change here. We're in the 55th minute. We are tied at 1, Boston and Western New York. Hinkle. Ingen plays it back to D'Angelo. She's got LaRue on the near side if she can get it to her. Flicked down, but no one on the backside for Sydney LaRue. Verdoya chips one forward, no one on the run for the Breakers. D'Angelo comes off her line.
And you like the confidence in McCaffrey. You can hear her screaming for the ball. making a great run down the center of the park. Just couldn't get, Vidoya just couldn't get that ball to her. She puts it right over her, but great run by McCaffrey. And Vidoya, the number 29 overall draft pick this year. I think that's a good change by Tom Durkin. I think the Boston Breakers have been seeing a lot of success out of Mewis, and I think that the success from Shepfer has dropped a little bit. So why not get a new player out there? Get Vidoya going at Hinkle, also a rookie in this league.
Throw in on the far side, Edmonds. Spencer in a sea of white. Open up to LaRue. On the right foot, the shot swerving. Off the mark by Sydney LaRue. Goal kick for the Breakers.
Sydney LaRue putting it on her preferred right foot. I would have liked to see her take that out to her left and maybe take Wood 1v1.
Looks like the Flash will be going to the bench for the first time in this game. Number 9, Lynn Williams, will be coming on, the 21-year-old. Getting her final instructions from head coach Aaron Lyons. As LaRue brings it down inside the center circle. Plays it back to Ingen. Now on the outside, Taylor. Long ball, looking for Hamilton. Lays it off for Edwards. She'll work the near side, LaRue. And double team coming on Sydney LaRue.
And there's that experience that we're talking about, right? Becky Edwards, she can decide to take a shot on frame.
Oh, Hamilton gets steamrolled as she's hammered in the box by Julie King. She's up and at it again, though.
That's a nice little cross there by Hinkle. But again, Becky Edwards, she could take a shot on frame. Percentages she fielded weren't high, so she puts it back out to LaRue, gets it out to Hinkle. Hinkle puts it back in for a very dangerous cross. And there you could see a lot more opportunities create for any team that is patient and can use the outside, use their outside, get it back out, bring it back in, versus just going right at the goal all the time.
58th minute. It's Hamilton coming off. Lynn Williams, her third appearance of the season. The 21-year-old out of Pepperdine University. Number 6 overall pick in this past draft by the NWSL. She'll come on for Hamilton. I thought Hamilton really started off strong, very busy, good work rate.
She was very busy, and you saw right there as well. She was still getting herself involved and making good runs and getting herself in the right positions. But Aaron Lyons not afraid to use his rookies. Now having 4 college draft picks from this season out there, and don't forget, you just took off Hamilton, who's pretty much a rookie. She came in, she was drafted number 36 last year in the college draft, and she didn't get any playing time last year with a torn ACL. And you know what? Tom Durkin and Aaron Lyons are very smart because they know they're looking at this. Tom Durkin's losing there, and Aaron Lyons is going to lose Whitney Engen when the World Cup comes around, and Sydney LaRue. I got to get some of my younger players a lot of playing time, a lot of experience, and let's see what we can do during the Women's World Cup time frame when we have players that are younger that are helping build this program.
They're going to have to carry the load, definitely, during that Women's World Cup. USA kicking off on June the 8th against Australia. USA, by the way, plays 2 times in Winnipeg, once in Vancouver in the first round of the 2015 Women's World Cup.
Well, if you're on the East Coast, you got a raw deal if you're a U.S. Women's World Cup fan, because if they go through as projected to be number 1 and they come out of their group as number 1, they play 1 game on the East Coast and then they're right back on the West Coast. And if they make it to the finals, that game's also in Vancouver. So if you're a U.S. fan, you got to get yourself up to, I believe that game's going to be in Montreal if they're 1B out of their group. They're in Group B.
Otherwise, on the road to BC Place in Vancouver. Should be a great summer. The 2015 Women's World Cup in Canada. Here's Ingen, 60th minute.
And correct me, that's Group D. And they'll be facing Australia. And remember who plays for Australia. Sam Kerr, right? So we'll see Sam Kerr. And Alyssa Nair's got to be better with that. She's got time. Take that ball down, be patient, and find a player.
I thought it was played back pretty.
Oh, it wasn't
pretty shaky.
Yeah, it was played back shaky, but she had a little bit of time.
Throw in for LaRue.
I guess she takes a look up and sees her teammate from the U.S. women's team, Sydney LaRue, coming at her, and knows what type of speed she's got.
Hinkle, Dahlkemper. Oh, nice little flick. Williams into the 18. Still Williams. Puts it back in front. Goal! Becky Edwards makes it 2-1 Western New York. Wow.
A great ball by Whitney Yang. I was just going to say, we haven't seen Whitney Yang in a lot in this game. She plays a nice, tight ball right into Becky Edwards and a nice little crafty flick there to Williams. Williams' first touch of the game. She takes the second touch, the third touch, lays it back to Becky Edwards on the give and go. And that's a brilliant goal for me. And I think for anybody watching.
And Lynn Williams, her first assist. Edwards, her first goal of the season.
And there's that little flick right there. 1, 2, 3. Her fourth touch is an assist. It's a good sub there by Aaron Lyons in the Western New York Flash.
It's good to see Edwards get on the end of one. How about the pass?
Are you talking about the flick
the
or the
flick,
pass?
right there.
Both of them were well done, and you can see right here trying to draw the defender. I believe it's Coleman trying to draw the defense. Williams drew the defender in, and nothing that Coleman could do. As it was a 2v1, virtually a 2v1, as Becky Edwards did the flick and quick turn.
LaRue and Rafinha collide. Rafinha holding her head. And she goes down after the challenge against Sydney LaRue. A well-taken goal by the Flash, a highlight reel goal from start to finish from Edwards, who's been instrumental in serving players from the midfield. She gets on the end of this one. And Tom Durkin will also come out and take a look at his number 10, Rafinha, holding her stomach as well. So she took a nasty blow there.
Yeah, and there's that ball by Whitney Engen. One-time flick by Becky Edwards, and then 1, 2, 3 touches. Great goal. That's just a brilliant goal. And nice little combination play at midfield, which allowed Whitney Engen. Dahlkemper got that ball and just flicked it back to Whitney Engen. Here's that flick. What a nice little dink. And then go. And then leaves her defender right behind her. As she was as Julie King was stepping forward, just left her right behind her. And then Pathman tried to get there for her. Just couldn't get there in time.
Classy goal. As Rafinha looks like she had the wind knocked out of her, and let's see if she'll continue. The head coach Tom Durkin over having a word with Rafinha, the 26-year-old Brazilian. She'll take on some water. And she'll come off and still get a looking at from the trainer.
Yeah, and I think Rafinha's come on the field and she's played really, really well. She's created a couple opportunities, a couple dangerous.
The contact, though, didn't look that bad with Sydney LaRue. Rafinha took the worst of it, but maybe she'll have to kind of tighten it up and get back out there.
The one thing you don't get in the NWSL is you don't get players that are faking it. So these players play real, and if they're down, you know they're down.
She'll make her way towards the fourth official. Look like she'll return, and she gets the green light. Rafinha back on the field. 2-1 Western New York with the lead. Williams, the super substitute off the bench, setting the table for Edwards in the 61st minute, giving Western New York a 2-1 lead. Looking for their first win, their first points of the season. The Flash, the only team in the NWSL yet to pick up a point. Boston coming in with 3 points after 2 games played, 1-1 on the season. And these two teams will meet once more on June 28th. That'll be in Boston, a 5 p.m. kickoff for the Flash and the Breakers. Pathman over the head of McCaffrey. Dahlkemper heads it forward, but the Breakers regain possession. Barzik's pass forward will roll out of bounds. Thrown coming up for Western New York. Kristen Press leading the league in scoring right now with 4 goals. Rapinoe behind her with 3. We do have an update. That was in the 82nd minute. That was about 15 minutes ago. Chicago had a 1-0 lead over Sky Blue. That one should be a final now, but last update was 1-0 Chicago. Nair takes her time, drives one right down the middle of the field. Taylor chases it down. D'Angelo will come off her line. D'Angelo 6 goals against, 9 saves coming into this one. First 2-time All-American out of South Carolina. Ingen and Henkel can't connect. Throw-in coming up here for the Breakers. 67th minute. McCaffrey stood up there nicely by Dahlkemper. And D'Angelo comes off her line for the Flash.
You know, I feel that the Western New York Flash back four, they're still getting used to each other, not really on the same page all the time. I mean, that ball from Whitney Engen, you don't really see that often from Whitney Engen where a ball just plainly gets kicked out of bounds. And, you know, Whitney Engen playing that long ball to Brittany Taylor was pretty dangerous a couple minutes ago. Taylor getting beat by McCaffrey earlier, so I think the back four are still trying to find their own way as well with the Western New York Flash.
Hinkle swerves one in that just comes out of play. Looking for LaRue, gives her a little clap and says good effort. Throw in for Wood, headed away by Ingen.
You know, Hinkle being a rookie, you know, getting that starting spot in the back four.
That's just pressure from Williams. She wins the throw-in here for the Flash, the under-23 U.S. women's player. Hinkle over LaRue to Williams. Spins off the chest. Edwards, Mewis, Williams, LaRue, corner of the 18, turns on the Jets. At the 6, puts one across the goal mouth. No one there for Western New York.
Nice combination play there through the midfield. And another nice ball by Williams. Sydney LaRue utilizing her speed, and she's got to do better with that one. Use that left foot and scream it across.
Spencer. Williams spinning away from pressure. Nope. Pickpocketed there by Barzik. Rafinha healthy and at it once again. Verdoya. Hassled there by Dahlkemper. Gets away from her. Hinkle comes in to finish the job. Gets a round of applause.
Nice defense there by Hinkle. And
there's LaRue.
Great transition here. Oh, and LaRue just can't get her feet, but good defense there by King to hold off Sydney LaRue.
You can see, though, the speed. It just gets to another level with LaRue. If she was able to keep her balance, she was going to turn the corner and be gone to goal.
Oh, yeah. She turns on, it goes to a whole new level.
King heads it away again. Top of the 18. Spencer cuts it back. Left, now back to her right. Spinning, looking for help. And knocked off the ball, Mewis. Christy Mewis and Sam Mewis had a nice little halftime message for their parents. It's their 29th wedding anniversary. Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Mewis. As you were talking about during the break, they've got to be very proud. 2 young ladies playing professional soccer. Congratulations to them.
And they get to watch them on one field in this game playing against each other. The younger of the two scoring a goal.
Looking the near side, looking for LaRue. She goes down awkward on the turf, but good to see her get up and hopefully stretch this off. It was an awkward fall on her right leg.
Actually,
for LaRue.
Seeing the younger of the two score their first professional career goal on their 29th anniversary. How great is that?
Dahlkemper goes outside. Edmonds. Flash going to make another change here. It'll be their second switch of the game. As it's played back to D'Angelo. It's going to be their newest acquisition. Jamia Fields will be coming on. And she'll wear number 24.
And that's the first time I've seen that. Marlboro bought that one from the referee.
Rafinha. Dribbling through two. Taylor says enough of that. Little back heel pass breaks it up. Little.
Rafinha has a nice little burst of speed there. Very similar to LaRue. I think LaRue has that little bit of an edge, and McCaffrey also. Just you could see some of the speed from some of these women and how they could just light it up at a split second. Just get to a whole new level. And
that's one thing, when Abby Wambach was in the game for the Flash, the system, the style of play obviously changes when you've got a prolific goal scorer like that. But now the speed game, really obvious here. Look at Hinkle, LaRue, Spencer. Service is blocked. Hinkle gets it back. Drives one with a left foot in there at the post. Makes the save. Mewis can't keep possession. Edmonds. Pass intercepted there by Casey Coleman.
yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot different. You've got that big presence. Oh, that's definitely a yellow card for Edmonds. And
first card of the game as well, 72nd minute.
She got way too excited on that one. Yeah, that's definitely a yellow card. But, you know, and Abby Wambach, obviously, you know, a different game. Play the ball into the target forward and run off of her. And the Flash saw some success with that.
73rd minute. Jamia Fields coming on, the 21-year-old, to replace Jasmine Spencer. Fields out of Florida State University. Member of the 2014 Seminoles National Championship team, makes her debut in the 73rd minute, coming on for Spencer.
Yeah, I'm sure she feels like she's got something to prove here. She was drafted by the Boston Breakers, number 14 overall, and Tom Durkin felt that she wasn't fit for his program, and she didn't fit into his style of play. And Aaron Lyons said to himself, "Sure, I'll take her, and let's see if she fits into my style of play."
She has a chance to show Coach Durkin or Coach Lyons who made the right decision. We shall see. As Suzanne Perez will be coming on for the Breakers, third and final substitution. Perez, the 22-year-old Brazilian, waiting for her chance to come in. And it'll be at the next stoppage as Edmonds knocks this one out of play. And Perez will be coming on for Amy Barzik, number 11. This change in the 74th minute.
And another player who played with McCaffrey for the Boston Breakers reserve team, and they've got a nice little program there with the Boston Breakers, you know, trying to build up their program with the reserve team. And obviously you see some success there with Perez and McCaffrey coming through that program.
Thrown on the far side for Pathman. We're in the 75th minute. Edwards with the go-ahead goal in the 61st. 2-1, Western New York. Perez, her first touch, finds McCaffrey, works it into the 18. Mewis marking Perez, and then she wins a corner kick. Perez making an immediate impact for the Breakers. 75th minute, second corner kick of the game on the far side for the Breakers. High service, deep into the box, and on the goal line, D'Angelo has to be careful not to carry that one over the line.
Yeah, but Rafina's got to play a better ball than that. She can't play it inside the 6-yard box. That's just too easy for D'Angelo. And the Boston Breakers definitely need a better cross than that. Somewhere between the 6 and the 12. They've got some big people coming in, tall, that can put the ball in the back of the net with their head. I mean, you got Wood, you got Marlborough, you got Julie King. You got some tall people in there for the Boston Breakers. That she's got to scream that across. It's got to be better.
Here's a good touch for Fields, working that far side. Swerves one into the box. Williams wide open, and the touch fails her. Ends up in the arms of Nair.
Oh, and Williams was she saw it right away. She was a play ahead of that. She was already making her run from about 40 yards out. And as soon as Fields got that ball, Williams was making that run, and she was keeping herself just on sides. And what a great ball by Fields. And Williams just tries to dink it in there. She's got to put everything on that, and why not? Just put it in the back of the net.
That would have been the nail in the coffin in the 77th minute. Boston dodges a bullet there.
I don't know if it'd be the final now, but
it'd
be pretty close because Boston's starting to pick their game up a little bit.
A great opportunity. Fields, the substitute, setting up another substitute in Lynn Williams. And this one will be interesting. At midfield, offsides as Fields came all the way back from an offside position to receive the ball. And the Breakers will have a restart here. Boston, led by Mr. Tom Durkin, coming over after Kat Whitehill led the team for a brief period after taking over for Lisa Cole. Trying to get his Breakers back into this one. 77th minute. They trail by 1. Pathman trots over, takes the throw in. Looking for Perez, and not going to end up on her foot. Another throw in. Second chance here for the Breakers. Offsides. Referee doesn't see it yet. Now makes the call. As it was McCaffrey, Stephanie McCaffrey, the player who came back from an offside position. 78th minute, restart coming up for the Flash. They've got one more substitution to make here. If Aaron Lyons feels the need to do so. D'Angelo pushing traffic. Flash looking for their first win of the season. Flicked forward, Fields. Pathman gets there first. Knocks it downfield, looking for McCaffrey. Taylor will see this one out of play. Brittany Taylor, the 27-year-old, played the most minutes last season, 24 appearances for the Western New York Flash. After playing in 23 games back in 2013, the NWSL Best 11 selection. In the 79th minute, the Breakers will pick up a free kick on the far side. It was Edmonds involved, and she'll go on the stat sheet for another foul.
Yeah, and she's got to be careful. I mean, with that yellow card, the ref's definitely got her number.
Mewis, deep ball again into the box, and D'Angelo has to work through a little bit of traffic there to make the save. She'll calm things down.
Again, you can look at Tom Dirk. He just looks at his assistant and says, we got to do better on set pieces. I mean, corner kick and a free kick where we're dangerous.
Fields switches it onto the near side. LaRue looks, lays one off for Williams. Back to LaRue, corner of the 18. Driven ball into the 6, and Nair quickly off her line, pounces on it. Her throw to Pathman's intercepted by Fields. Fields gets taken down, no call, will play on. Kallman. Perez. Long one and no one on the end of it for Boston. 80th minute. Flash lead by 1. Back to D'Angelo. Takes her time, buys a little bit of space, looks. Left foot pass forward, Williams beats King to it. Williams dribbles around the keeper, but Nair gets a poke on it. Williams spins, shot cleared off the line, and Nair gets the rebound. What a flurry, what activity there.
That's good speed by Williams there. And almost a great second finish, second try there. Good save by the Boston Breakers off the line. And Nair with that first save that Williams tried to go right past her on.
D'Angelo, little mix up with Edmonds and finally cleared away. Hinkle, LaRue, back to Hinkle. Pumps it upfield, no one there. King barely gets it back to Nair.
I mean, that run is great, but also the ball that was played to Williams was great as well.
Sure was from D'Angelo.
And after when Williams turned, I was very surprised she had Mewis coming right from behind. All she had to do was lay it off to Mewis' right foot, and Mewis was coming on from 18 yards out. And you could see this game starting to open up a little bit. There's some tired legs. There's some big gaps there in the midfield.
Dahlkemper. Edwards. Going to quickly go forward to Fields. Couldn't do it. But a giveaway. Back now to Mewis for the flash. LaRue has to hustle. The speed gets her there, keeps it in play. Plays it back to Hinkle. And knocked out of play there by Rachel Wood. Throwing coming up for the flash. Here's that last flurry, Mike.
I mean, and look at that ball. Look at Williams just split the two defenders. She beats Wood and King on the run, and what a hand save right there by Nair. And right there is where she had Mewis coming on from behind. And that's a good save by, I think it's Julie King who saved that off the line.
And hats off to Nair as well. That's why she's a national keeper. Tremendous work on her behalf.
Here you go. Look at that. And you see Mewis looking for the ball. You can see her bend over. She wants that ball. Play it back to me. I see the entire frame.
Not to be.
Not to be, but, you know, that's where experience helps out in situations like that. And I think that was the second time that Williams had her back to goal and she could have laid it off. The first time was to Becky Edwards, who was coming through the middle. And that time, Mewis. But, you know, when you look back at the game film, Williams is going to look back at that. Aaron Lyons is going to show her, hey, look at your options right here. And that's where you start to gain experience.
McCaffrey, nowhere to go. The flash packed it in defensively and come forward now, LaRue. I guess the good thing for Williams, the 21-year-old, is at least she's getting opportunities. She's finding herself in scoring positions. And as you say, if Aaron Lyons and the staff can show her a few other options, those opportunities convert to goals. Edwards. LaRue, good 1-2. LaRue has got such good vision. She's done that all night long. Quick little passes. Simple, but effective.
Yeah, she plays relatively simple, and that's nice to see.
McCaffrey gets away from Edwards. Mewis. Long shot. A little bit of a knuckle on it as well. D'Angelo had to keep her eye on it.
It's a nice,
85th minute.
Nice little strike there by Mewis.
Taylor will come out of the back for Western New York. 12 shots for the Flash, 5 for the Breakers. Shipped forward, looking for Williams.
And I mean, you got to feel good if you got to feel pretty good if you're Aaron Lyons, because you're going to lose Sydney LaRue after this game, but you've got Jasmine Spencer that could come on. So and you got Fields that's showing pretty well right now on the outside, on the wing there. And then when you lose that Whitney Engen, you got Tony Presley, who could play that center back position right next to Brittany Taylor.
Here is LaRue. Gets it back. Looking for Edwards. She couldn't get it to settle, and it'll roll out of play. Flash are also going to lose Joya, who will at some point be joining Cameroon for their women's national side. Mewis, little poke there from Edwards, able to stop her attack, and she gets it back. Williams settles it down off the chest. Going at Coleman, Williams.
And I mean, again, that's just too much room if you're a defender. I mean, you can't let Williams bring that down on her chest, turn, and then come at you. You already know what her speed is. Get on her back, and do not let her turn.
Fields, her debut has been strong tonight. She battles on the far side. Pathman will clear it for the Breakers. Dahlkemper heads it up in the air. Edmonds has been good tonight. Wins it again for the Flash. Mewis poked away by Coleman. Perez. Julie King. Pass taken away. Dahlkemper has LaRue. Takes a touch, top of the 18. Onto her right, the shot, goal! Sydney LaRue caught Nair going the other way, and she gets the third one of the night. 3-1 Western New York.
You know, and I was just going to criticize her for bringing it back to her preferred right foot again, saying, why doesn't she take something with her left foot? She's got that left foot. It's not as strong as her right, but again, she brings it back to her right foot. Nair thinks she's going to be trying to curl it far post, and she beats her near post right there.
Dahlkemper gets the assist. First assist of the season, and a little send-off for Sydney LaRue as she'll join the Nationals.
And the Boston Breakers found themselves in a 2v3 situation with Dahlkemper, Williams, and LaRue. And Dahlkemper takes advantage of it by putting that ball right out to LaRue.
Bad giveaway, too, on the pass coming out of the back by the Breakers. And boy, did Dahlkemper and LaRue make them pay.
Yeah, and I mean, near post goal, you know, as a goalkeeper, you're never happy when you get beat on the near post.
Here's Williams picking up the loose ball. LaRue, look at that burst of speed. LaRue looking for more. 1v4, she'll calm and cool, play it outside to Fields. Fields working through, still with it, the shot. Routine save there for Nair. 88th minute.
You know, the one thing that Tom Durkin said before this game is that the Western New York Flash are very organized, and they have played very, very organized today. And you could see Dahlkemper and Becky Edwards really playing that midfield position, just keeping organization in that midfield the entire game. And Coach Durkin said, you know, I need my team to play the way that they play at training. And I don't think he's seeing it yet. And although they came back and played very well against Houston and they got that win 3v2, I don't think Boston brought their best game today. Other than the first 15 minutes where you really saw McCaffrey and Marlborough on that goal,
yeah.
You haven't really seen much of those two players, and you're expecting a lot from those two players. And I really like watching those two players play, and the Western New York Flash have kept McCaffrey and Marlborough at bay.
Flash giving up the early one 15 minutes in, and then coming back with 3 of their own. Mewis is battling hard against 3 Breakers defenders, and she's called for the foul.
The fans disagree, but that's a good call by the referee.
90th minute, and the third and final substitution coming on for the Western New York Flash. Jara Shoot Joya, the Cameroonian international, coming on for Sydney LaRue, who gets a little send-off here, as she will join the U.S. women's national team following tonight's game. LaRue scoring in the 87th minute. It's a nice round of applause as The Western New York Flash, it's a class move by Lines. Give her a chance to be honored as she's going to be joining the women's team for the World Cup.
You know, she's a real joy to watch. That burst of speed she's got. She's exciting to watch. She's an exciting player. She's a team player.
Perez plays it in, but it's offside. McCaffrey will let it roll through. 2 minutes of stoppage time as the Flash, the new board held by the fourth official. I'm a fan of it. As I get older, those little numbers are hard to see. It is big, hard to miss. Flash 3-1. Goals from Mewis, Edwards, and LaRue. Edwards' goal and an assist, by the way, this evening. Williams.
Yeah, even with that goal, without that goal and assist, I thought Becky Edwards, her play in the midfield, controlling the center of the park, moving the ball around the field, keeping the ball moving, just best player on the field by far. I don't know, Williams, welcome to the NWSL. You don't have that much time in the real world here.
You can hear the crowd get anxious.
Yeah.
Watch your back.
Well, where are the other 10 players from the Western New York Flash yelling "man on"? But again, you never have that much time in any game, so she just kind of slowed down.
Fields hustling back to win it for Western New York. Good showing for the 21-year-old Fields.
Absolutely.
Came on in the 73rd minute.
Absolutely.
Edmonds.
Should have gotten herself an assist on that ball she played to Williams. Williams could have left here with a goal and an assist.
Two goals.
Fields with an assist. Oh, yeah, 2 goals. But, you know, Nair came up real big. And, again, like you said, that's why she's on the national team. Although D'Angelo's gotten the best of her tonight. But, saying that, I don't believe Boston did what one of their keys to the game was get numbers forward and get a lot more crosses and shot production and increase that, and they didn't do that tonight.
And Greg Dopka brings this one to a close. The Flash 3, the Breakers 1. Western New York gets their first points of the season, their first win of the season. They're now 1-2 with 3 points. Boston at that same exact mark, 1-2, 3 points on the season. Recapping your scoring tonight in the 15th minute, Boston took a 1-0 lead. Marlborough, her first of the season, from McCaffrey. Then in the 23rd minute, it was Mewis for the Flash from Edwards. In the 61st minute, Edwards got a goal from Williams. And then in the 87th minute, LaRue from Dahlkemper. Final score tonight, 3-1, Western New York over Boston. Mike, as we wrap it up, your final thoughts tonight.
Becky Edwards was the player of the match for me. Like I said, she was switching the point of attack. She kept that ball moving all over the pitch. Dahlkemper not too bad either, but really for me it was Becky Edwards. Sydney LaRue, obviously dangerous. The Western New York Flash have a lot of dangerous forwards, but watch out, Boston did not show up with their best game today, and when they face Boston again, I'm sure they're going to bring a better game. Marlborough and McCaffrey obviously very, very, very dangerous, and I just think that the Western New York Flash showed up and the Boston Breakers didn't show up as much tonight.
The next game for us on the Flash Broadcast Network will be next Friday, May the 8th, against a powerhouse FC Kansas City. 7 p.m. right here at Sahlen Stadium. You can catch it, of course, right here on the Flash Broadcast Network. Well, for our entire crew, Mike Kerms, our color commentator, John Catalano, our producer, I'm Joe Giuliano saying so long from Sahlen Stadium as the Western New York Flash pick up a 3-1 victory in their 2015 home opener against the Boston Breakers. So long from Sahlen Stadium.